Good morning. Oh my goodness. Sorry about that. I haven't used my voice much this morning. Sorry, let me take a sip of coffee. Okay, I'm good. Thank you and good morning. It's Erica here from Me To You Paper Crafts, coming to you live from the west coast of Canada. And welcome to Mojo Monday. So I have another template for you. I've been doing these templates since the fall, and we are on card sketch number 18. These are card sketches that you will find in our current annual catalog. So it's the 2024 to 2025 annual catalog. Don't get confused because we have a brand new catalog coming in, and I believe there are more templates in that catalog as well. But I'm going through, I want to finish up the templates in the old annual catalog. And so I'm going to continue these, but I'm going to always be using new products or current products, I should say. So welcome again. So I'm going to turn my camera down so that you can see what I'm working on. So let me just add my desktop here. And oh my gosh, look at that big shadow of my phone. I have overhead lights in my craft room, and I need them to see, of course, but they do cause issues with shadows. So as soon as you put your hands, in front of the lighting, anything in front of the lighting, you get lots of shadows. So I turn on these other lights. Hopefully it helps to dim the shadows. Otherwise, we kind of just have to live with it. All right, welcome. If you're new to me or if you've just found me on either YouTube or Facebook, welcome. Leave a comment. Let me know who you are and where you're from and what you love about crafting. I always like to hear what people love about crafting. Now, here's the card sketch. Okay, so we've done a couple of card templates that have strips of paper going horizontally across the card. So this is another one. And then this is a simple one. You can just use designer series paper, or another idea is to use a piece of cardstock and then emboss it and then cut the strips, or cut the strips first and then emboss it, depending on what kind of a cutting apparatus you have. If you have a Stampin' Trimmer where you have a track, well, I'll bring out my our Stampin' Trimmer just to show you. Okay, so if you have a trimmer like this, for example, where you've got a sliding, pull this into camera view, where you have a sliding blade and perhaps a sliding scoring blade, then you want to cut your paper first and then emboss it. Okay, but if you happen to have a guillotine trimmer, like I have a guillotine trimmer, I personally feel you need both trimmers because it just depends on what you're doing. One works better than another. So if you have a guillotine trimmer like this is a We Are Memory Keepers trimmer, guillotine trimmer, then you could emboss the cardstock first and then you can cut it. Okay, because you're just coming straight down and cutting it. You're not dragging it over all the little bumps of the embossed paper. Do you understand what I'm saying? I hope so. Okay, if not, you can ask me a question and I'll repeat it for you. All right, so I've decided to pull out this designer series paper. This is called Shades and Hues. This is in our Spring Mini, which is still live, and you can find it on, no, actually it's online. You have to go to our online store to find this. And when you go to shop, you look for a category called online exclusives, and a whole bunch of products are in there that are not in catalogs. So no longer can you just rely on Stampin' Up! Catalogs to find products. You also need to go online. Now, Stampin' Up! Is a little unique now. Years and years and years ago, I mean, I've been paper crafting for over 30 years. Well over 30 years. And every stamp company had a catalog. I remember Hero Arts had a catalog. I remember there was another company, now I can't remember the name, but several companies, PSX, I think it was called, Personal Stamp Exchange, I think it was called. They had a catalog, and that's where you would find your products. You would have to order a catalog and have a look. This is like, way before even the internet came about. But a lot of companies now don't provide a catalog at all, and all of their products are online. But Stampin' Up! Is unique in that they have found over the years that not only their demonstrators, but also their customers really appreciate a paper copy that they can browse through, look at all the fabulous artwork, get lots and lots of ideas from a catalog. So they still do produce a catalog. As a matter of fact, they produce 3 catalogs a year. They have one that lasts a whole year. That's the annual catalog. And then around August, September, they come out with the fall catalog, which includes all of the fall holidays, plus, of course, Christmas. And then in January, they come out with a spring catalog that includes all of the holidays during the springtime season. So 3 different catalogs. But they found that they were getting a little bit restricted in announcing brand new products that they're developing. If they develop brand new products, they had to kind of wait for the next publication. But now every 2 months, Stampin' Up! Develops brand new products, and then they'll put them in the online exclusive section of the online store. Okay, so that's just so that you're aware of how Stampin' Up! Works. Okay, all right, so this is an online product, not in a catalog. And also I should tell you, when a catalog has ended, because they all have end dates, any products, some of those products may carry forward and they'll appear in the next catalog. So an example, in the spring, say for example, there is a designer series paper or there may be a stamp set. They may put that in the next catalog. So that means it's still available for purchase, or they'll stick it online. Okay, so that's kind of how it works. Good morning, Christine. All right, so this may have appeared in a catalog. It's really hard for us to remember what appeared where in what catalog. So it's a little bit confusing for demonstrators. As a customer, you don't really care. You just want to get the product. But it's a little confusing for us to remember where it appeared, when it appeared, which catalog did it appear in. But rest assured, everything that you want from Stampin' Up! Is online, okay? So this is called Shades and Hues Designer Series paper. And this paper reminded me of paint swatches. You know, when you're deciding to paint a room, you would go to the paint store and you would pick up a selection of swatches, and it would give you all these different shades of that one color. And years ago, I used to go to the paint stores and collect swatches and make cards with them. It was so fun. So now this paper was designed based on those card swatches. So they've got all the different stripes. They've got some plain, what we call ombre. Ombre means going from dark to light shading. And then, of course, we've got the reverse. All of our papers are reversible. So on the back, they decided to do sort of like a crackled look. And that is actually a painting technique, is to have a crackled look. So these are all crackled looks on the back. Okay, but beautiful, beautiful colors. There's 4 colors in this pack. There is Fresh Freesia, Misty Moonlight, Petal Pink, and Pool Party. I've decided to use Pool Party this morning. And so I've pulled out one of the sheets of paper. And when I saw this template, I immediately thought of this paper because look, it's got stripes in it. But I'm going to cut them according to the template. I'm not going to cut them where these white lines are because that would be a little bit maybe boring. I'm not sure. But I'm going to cut them as per the template here. Okay. And then in the middle, you can, and this can be a circle or a square. It asks for a decorative image. And this is a 2-inch circle. So if you have a 2-inch circle punch, then you could use that. Other than that, you could use other dies. So we have these are called Stylish Shapes dies. So here again, you've got some squares. You could choose to use a square or you can use circles. We have, these are fairly new. These are again, this is an online product and they're called Around It All dies. There is a coordinating stamp set that goes with it, but I didn't purchase the stamp set. I just purchased the dies and they've got all these kind of wonky circles in here. And then we also have these beautiful deckled edged circles. These are gorgeous. I love these. So when you look at a circle, you could stamp the greeting on one circle and then use another circle that's a little bit larger and create a backing. And we might do that today. Okay. All right. And then the stamp set is Simply Said. I am really excited that Simply Said is now has been carried forward, and it is in the brand new catalog. And again, it is online. So if you're looking for this, you just type in Simply Said in the search box and up it comes. And I've used this a lot. There's 2 different font styles on here, and it's perfect for simple greetings on your cards. Okay, so you've got birthday wishes, happy birthday, and you've got thank you here and a thanks here. And then you've got just a note. I use this a lot. Hello. I love a hello. And you've got this yay. I haven't really used the yay much. But there you go. That's the Simply Said stamp set. Okay, I'm going to pull my camera over. I'm struggling with where my center is. Okay, there we go. All right. So let's get started with our template. Okay, so we are going to cut our designer series paper. So these are 1 3/8 inch in height. Okay, 1 3/8, and they're 3 3/4 wide. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this at 3 3/4, and then I'm going to cut them into the strips. Okay, so we want to go 3 3/4. So 3 3/4. Okay. And then this, I would cut down to another strip and put it inside my card. Okay. I always like to add some element from the front to the inside. So 3 3/8, and then we're going to put these to 1 3/8 strips. So 1 and 1, 2, 3. So it's an 1/8 shy of 1/2 inch. Okay, so there's one strip. 1 3/8 again. So 1, 1, 2, 3. And there's another strip. And then 1, 2, 3. And there's my third strip. Okay, so we're only using 3 strips. Okay, it doesn't matter if you keep these in order because there's no real pattern to them. And then it's showing that we've got another little strip in here. So I'm going to use the pool party again. And I think I'm going to emboss this strip just to do something a little bit different. So in my paper scraps, for each color cardstock I have a pocket. These are page protector pockets, and I just keep my scraps in here. So here we go. Now this says it's 5/8 of an inch. So I might cut down 1 or use an existing one. Let's see. Let's take this one out. Because 5/8 is a little more than 1/2 inch. So this is, I'm going to go on this side. Here's 1/2 inch. So that's 4, 5, 5/8. Okay, now I'm going to put a little bit of tape on here like that. I'm going to cut. Okay, so this is 5/8, and they wanted it by 4 inches. 4 inches. Okay. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put that in an embossing folder and give it a little bit of a texture. So let's see. I will use this distressed. No, this is called Dashing Designs. So this is a really nice embossing folder. So I'm going to put that in there like that. And then I'm going to pull out my embossing plate. And run it through my machine. Okay, so there's my little embossed strip. Okay, I chose to keep with the pool party. This is a pool party card base. It's half a sheet of cardstock, 8.5 by 11, cut at 5.5. And then you trim it. This is 8.5 inches, and you trim it 4.25. That's a standard card base. This is called portrait orientation, and this is called landscape orientation. Okay, we're going with portrait today to follow our template. All right, so we're going to take these strips, and this was an ombre pattern. So the darker could go at the top, then it goes to a lighter, and then it goes to an even lighter piece here. So we're going to put one close to the bottom, like 1/8 of an inch up from the bottom. Okay, and then this one's going to come with a little bit of a gap in between. We're just eyeballing this today. This is going to go 1/8 from the top. And then we have this strip that goes down the center, like that. Okay. Now, according to the template, there's a small little gap between these. So I'm gonna bring this down a little bit more from the top. I'll pull this a little bit closer, and this a little bit closer. Okay. I'm not going to worry too much about the spacing. Okay, let's get out our tape runner here, and I'm going to get out my silicone craft sheet. I've got 2 of them here. And then we're just going to start gluing these on top of the card base. Now, if you have grid paper, it comes in handy, or you could, if you have this glass mat, these little squares are 1/8 of an inch, so you can use it to line up your paper. So it comes in really, really handy. So if I'm going 1/8 from the bottom, I'm going to this next grid line and to that vertical grid line. So it should help you to line up your paper. Okay, now I'm going to do the bottom one next. Sorry about that. So this is going to go to the bottom. So I'm lining it up again in a corner. And go up 1/8 and in 1/8. Now the glass mat is very slippery, so you could tape your card down. Okay, and then let's put this one on. Okay, and then we have this one to put in. Now this one, I'm going to use my Tombow glue. It's hard to run tape runner over the bumps. And you want to avoid flattening the bumps, because that would defeat the purpose of having the bumps. I'm just going to slip. Now this is a little bit wider. I'm going to just slip that in there like that. Okay. Now, if you don't like the tone on tone, then you could do a different colored card base. You could go to white, would look nice, or you could just pick a different color that complements this pool party. Okay, but there's all of your stripes on there. Really, really simple. Now, we've got our, I think we'll do just a note. I really like the just a note. You can send a card to someone. It's just a note to say hello, or just a note to see how you are, or just a note to wish you a happy day. or just a note to wish you a happy birthday. And I could go on and on. Now, I need a piece of cardstock, white. We'll do it on white. Okay, and I'm going to do this in black, nice and bold. And I'm going to pull out my ink pad. Just a note. And now I need to decide what circle I'm going to use. We could choose to give it a border. Let's just cut it out first and see. Of course, if we do a border in the same color, it won't show up that much. So maybe I'll just do it with a stitched border. Just a note. Okay, let me grab a little piece of tape. And then I'll run that through my machine. There we go. So, and there you go. That's pretty simple. That is such a simple design. Look at that. And I think the white on the blue looks fine. I'm not going to put a backing on it. Okay. Now, if you wanted to just, I don't know, add a little something here, we could add some embellishments. We could even add a little bit of ribbon. I'm just looking at my ribbon stash up there, and I actually have some ribbon. It might be retired now, but let me see. Oh, we've got this ribbon. This is really pretty. This is still, I think, in the online store. This is called iridescent ribbon. And I'm going to cut a piece. This is what I do. It's almost like creating a, let me just grab my ribbon scissors. It's almost like creating a medallion. So I will often, this could do with flattening out. I don't know how it got bent, but that's okay. So I'm just going to flip this over. And I'm just going to put this at the bottom, and I'm going to use some Scotch tape. And just tape that on. And then I'm going to put this up on dimensionals. I still haven't pulled out my regular size dimensionals. I've been using these minis because I have so many of them. But I need to pull out my regular sized ones. They can be a little staticky. Okay, we'll add just a note right here. Okay, and I think we need some embellishments. What do you think? I've got these really cool, these are called Adhesive Backed Sequins Trio. I think these are still current. And I'm just going to add, because they've got some pool party iridescence to them. So let's just add a few of these. And there you go. So there's your card for today. So I will post the finished card along with the template so that if you want to make some of these, they're really fast and simple to make. And on the inside, I would put a white piece, and I'm going to, yeah, let's do the inside. We've got time. So I need a 4 by 5¼ inch piece for the inside. Let's just check. Oh, this is 4¼ I've got some 4. Yeah, 4 by 5¼ Let's cut this strip down. We'll make it 1/2 inch. And then we'll put this on our card. Oh, we went from dark to light on the front. So I'll go dark to light on the back. Okay, and then we'll just trim and trim. And then now you can choose to put this on the left-hand side or on the right-hand side. I'm going to do the right-hand side. Okay, so there's your finished card. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you'll go ahead and use that template. I hope you're using all of the templates that I've been providing you. They're certainly a great place to start when you're designing a card. Have a wonderful week. I'll see you again on Thursday night for Case the Caddy. Bye for now.